Hello everyone, today we will be finding the best Pokemon card set of all time using math. It's a question that people have been trying to find an answer to for many years now. So in the past, when people try and find the best set of all time, typically what they'll do is they'll either make a tier list or they'll have a vote. Both of those methods are very flawed because they rely on people's opinions. And I also think it's fair to assume that most people have not opened every set of Pokemon cards that has ever been made. So before we get to the math itself, we gotta figure out what makes a Pokemon card set good. Pull rates obviously make a set better because it allows you to have a better chance of getting more valuable cards. And for the cards themselves, having more valuable cards in the set makes the set itself more desirable. So in both those explanations, I used a key word. I used the word valuable. And this is where the math comes in because thanks to sites like Collector and TCG Player, every Pokemon card has a value that can be tracked. Now, we can't just go off value itself, because if we did, obviously a set like first edition base set would win because it has the most expensive cards, obviously has like a $100,000 plus Charizard, and yeah, that would easily take the cake as the best Pokemon card set. So we're missing a piece of the puzzle here, and that piece is probability. Just because a Pokemon card set has a lot of valuable cards, doesn't mean that you're going to pull them. So the way to incorporate this into our math is we have to find the pull rates for each set. And the final thing that we are missing is the cost of each pack. Although a set like first edition base set has very valuable cards, and roughly a 1 in 3 chance of pulling a holo card, the cost of a pack is like thousands of dollars. So I have found a way using math to incorporate all three of these elements to find the best Pokemon card set of all time. So the way we do this is called expected value. So expected value is a way of measuring an expected output for a given event. So I'll give you guys an example using a coin. So imagine you have a coin in your hand. Now let's say you flip that coin, and if it lands on heads, you win $1, and if it lands on tails, you win nothing. So there's a 50% chance of each outcome occurring. Half the time you're going to land on heads, half the time you're going to land on tails. So that also means half the time you're going to win $1, and the other half of the time you're going to win nothing. So the formula for expected value is as follows. So it's actually quite simple. All you do is you multiply the odds of each outcome occurring multiplied by the value that you'd get from that outcome. And then you just sum up all the values. So for our scenario of flipping a coin, so 50% times 0, because that is our first outcome, is 0. And then 50% times 1 is 0.5. And then when you add them, you get 0.5. So in terms of money for that scenario, if we flip the coin, our expected value is 50 cents. Now let's do an example with Pokemon. We're going to use base set for this example. So throughout this video, we're not going to be using commons, uncommons, or basic energies for any calculations. When you incorporate the values of these cards, it does not affect the final value much, so to save time, I just skip them. So that means for base set, all we care about is the rare cards and the holo cards. So for base set, the chances of pulling a holo card are approximately 1 in 3. And that means pulling a rare card is 2 out of 3. Now the issue here is that there's dozens of different holo cards and rare cards in the set. There's a pretty easy solution to this though. All we have to do is we have to take the average value for a holo card and the average value for a rare card. So after some math, the average value for a holo card in base set is $56.81, and for a rare card it is $4.31. So now what we did was we multiply the average holo value times the pull rate, which is 1/3. So we also do this with the rare cards with their pull rate of 2/3. So after doing the multiplying, we have our expected value for the holo cards at $18.75 and our expected value for the rare card at $2.85. So when adding those two values together, we get our expected value for a base set pack. And that value is $21.60. Now this doesn't sound too bad until you realize that a base set pack costs $308 approximately. So if you open up a base set pack worth $308, you can expect to lose $286 on average. And just to preface this, on average, every single Pokemon set, you're going to lose money when you open it consistently. Like maybe if you open one pack and get lucky, you're going to profit, but like on average, every single set you lose money. Now before we dive into all the other sets, there's one issue we got to take care of. So we need to put vintage sets and modern sets on an even playing field. So basically to do this, I had to find a conversion factor. So the retail price of a Pokemon pack is $4. So to find our conversion factor, all we did was we divided the price of the base set pack by $4. So for base set, that gives us a conversion factor of 77. So all we do now is we divide our expected value by 77. So for base set, that brings our expected value down to 28 cents, and that means our loss will be $3.72. So when I ranked all the sets, I ranked them by their expected loss. And obviously, the lower the loss is, the better. Now before we get into the rankings, I gotta go over some disclaimers. So firstly, I found all the card values on tcgplayer.com. And when counting values, I rounded anything ending in 50 cents up $1 and anything that was below 50 cents down $1. So basically, if something costs $3.57, I would round it up to $4. And if it was like $3.42, I'd round it down to $3. Also, for these rankings, I only ranked up to Crown Zenith. As for the rarities that I counted in these sets, I counted anything that was a rare or up. So I also counted reverse hollows, I counted hollows, ultra rares, all those types of cards. So for most of these sets, official pull rates don't exist, so I had to do some research. I have linked all my sources in the description down below. If you want to check it out, feel free. And also for special sets such as Hidden Fates, those packs cost $5 each. So using the conversion factor for those sets, I basically had to get them to like a $5 pack. And for the value of the packs themselves, I got the values from Collector, but I also cross-referenced with eBay to make sure the values were accurate, so if I needed to change them, I did. So in theory, using these calculations, the best Pokemon card set will have the best balance of low pack price, high value cards, and high pull rates. So without further ado, let's get to our rankings. So one last thing before we get into the rankings, I just have to warn you guys. Modern sets dominated. I did everything in my power to try and make it a fair fight between Modern and Vintage. To nerf Vintage, I basically had to reduce everything down to a $4 pack. And to nerf Modern, I used the rounding rule, and I also didn't include commons, uncommons, or energies in the total. But even after this, Modern still came out on top. To put it in perspective, the top set that was not XY, Sun and Moon, or Sword and Shield came 24th overall. So the first set of rankings I'm going to give you guys is a top 10 of all the sets that don't include XY, Sun and Moon, or Sword and Shield. And after that, I'm going to give you guys a full entire list from worst to best, including modern sets. And then after that, I've included specific lists by generation. So very last thing before we get to that top 10. We got to talk about the worst set of all time. So we're actually going to go over the worst main set of all time and the worst special set of all time. So without further ado, drum roll please. The worst overall set of all time is Dragon Majesty. Dragon Majesty has an expected loss of $4.45. Dragon Majesty is overall a very mediocre set. However, the main thing that killed it is the price tag of $43. Dragon Majesty is a special set, but in my opinion, it does nothing to warrant being a special set other than guaranteeing a holo in every pack. Moving on, the worst main set of all time is Emerging Powers. Now, I got some personal beef against Emerging Powers, and I was so glad to see it come in last place amongst all the main sets. Despite coming out in 2011, the highest priced card in this set is $7. That is abysmal. I could go on for days why this set is the worst set of all time, but to put it in perspective, when reduced down to a $4 pack, your expected loss is $3.85. So at this reduced rate, you're expected to get 15 cents from every pack that you open. You will never profit from this set. A single pack of Emerging Powers costs $47. And when the highest value card is $7, you're never going to profit. And with that out of the way, let's finally get into our top 10 of sets not including X and Y, Sun and Moon, or Sword and Shield. So with these sets, I'd like to think that their ranking will hold over time compared to Modern, where I think a lot of those sets will have dramatic shifts over the years. But coming in 10th place, we have Expedition. Expedition is a rather expensive set, however it is helped by many expensive reverse holos and also 3 different Charizards. Expedition has an expected adjusted loss of $3.50 and came in 47th place overall. Moving on to 9th place, we have Plasma Freeze. Plasma Freeze has an adjusted expected loss of $3.48. I did not expect Plasma Freeze to place as high, but it turns out the set is a sleeper set. The market price for this set is around $65, which is kind of the middle area for black and white, and a lot of the value in this set comes from secret rares, full arts, and reverse holos. Plasma Freeze came 45th place overall. In 8th place we have EX Unseen Forces. Unseen Forces has an adjusted expected loss of $3.46. Despite costing $325, this set makes up for that price all around. Unseen Forces contains many valuable holo cards, reverse holos, EX cards, and gold stars. Unseen Forces placed 40th overall. Moving on to 7th place, we have Skyridge. Skyridge also has an adjusted expected loss of $3.46, but it takes the edge over Unseen Forces due to rounding differences. The market price for a Skyridge pack comes in at a whopping $1,230. At this price, Skyridge is the most expensive Pokemon card set. Skyridge easily makes up for this with its insanely valuable holo cards and reverse holos. Skyridge placed 39th place overall. Barely beating out Skyridge in 6th place, we have Neo Destiny. Neo Destiny has an adjusted expected loss of $3.45. This set comes in with a market price of $430. Neo Destiny has some valuable holo cards, but most of its value comes from its 8 different shining cards. Neo Destiny placed 38th place overall. In 5th place, we have Gym Challenge. Gym Challenge isn't the most popular Gen 1 set, but it has a very similar average holo value to base set. And with a market price of $162, this allowed Gym Challenge to place high on our rankings. Gym Challenge has an adjusted expected loss of $3.44 and placed 36th place overall. Coming in 4th place, we have EX Delta Species. Delta Species has an adjusted expected loss of $3.39. Delta Species has a market price of $350, which is middle of the road for the EX era, but it easily makes up for this with its holo value, reverse holo value, and gold stars. Delta Species came in 34th place overall. And now entering our top 3, in 3rd place we have Legendary Treasures. Legendary Treasures has an adjusted expected loss of $3.36. Legendary Treasures is my personal favorite set of all time, and that is due to its crazy pull rates. This set introduced a Radiant collection, which really helps add additional value when opening packs. In a single pack of the Legendary Treasures, it's possible to get a secret rare card, a holo card, and a full art Radiant collection card. This is a very fun set to open, and it placed 29th place overall. Our runner-up in 2nd place is Heart Gold Soul Silver base set. This set has an adjusted expected loss of $3.35. Heart Gold Soul Silver has a market price of $130. Even at that price, this set contains lots of value in its holo cards, reverse holo cards, prime cards, legend cards, and even a secret rare Gyarados. In addition, this set has very good pull rates, with prime cards being pulled at approximately 1 in 6 packs, and legend cards at 1 in 12 packs. Heart Gold Soul Silver placed 27th overall and is a very strong set. And in 1st place of our non-modern rankings, we have Undaunted. Another set from the Heart Gold Soul Silver era, Undaunted has an adjusted expected value of $3.31. Undaunted is very similar in value to Heart Gold Soul Silver, but it takes the edge due to its more expensive prime cards. In addition, Undaunted packs go for $20 less than Heart Gold Soul Silver packs at $110 each. And this set is highlighted by its Rayquaza and Deoxys legend cards. Despite topping these rankings, Undaunted placed 24th overall. After looking at the non-modern top 10, it is finally time to look at the entire rankings. And those were our rankings. I definitely think there were a lot of surprises in that top 30 or so. For me, I think the biggest surprise was Breakpoint and Breakthrough placing the top 10. But in the end, I think Brilliant Stars is worthy of being crowned the #1 set of all time. Brilliant Stars is everything you could ask for in a Pokemon card set. You can still find packs for $4, it has many Charizard cards, and very high pull rates. I think what helped it the most though was the trainer gallery. And this helped other sets too because 5 out of the 6 sets with subsets placed in our top 11. Overall, I think the reason why Modern did so good is because Pokemon card sets are improving over time. Pull rates are definitely getting better, there's more high rarity cards to pull, and chase cards are seeing their value skyrocket. Over time, prices change and we'll likely see a shift in the rankings. I've linked all my sources in the description as well as the spreadsheet where I did all my calculations in. So if you guys find any math errors, please let me know. I think if we want the most truly accurate results, we do have to end up using commons and uncommons, and also not use any rounding. I think it would be really cool if someone was able to pick up where I left off and automate all the rankings. But with that, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. And any likes, shares, or subscriptions would be very much appreciated. Goodbye, guys.